Okay guys, for this in this Tableau demonstration, I'm very excited to show you something which I really this visualization I find very fascinating, and I'm I'm sure you have seen this in my other lecture as well. The gap minder visualization, which was done by Ross. I think his name is Ross Hosling. So you have seen this one, and which was developed by Ross Hosling using his own proprietary tool. And now we will be creating something very similar to it in Tableau. Okay. The first thing I want you to do is we will be now selecting the world indicators database dataset, which has data on country, dimensions are country, region, year, measures, so measure names, and then you have data on business for each country, development, health, and population, and longitude and latitude. So that's the data set we have. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is go to the population measure, open that up, and I'm going to take the birth rate and drop there. And I don't want the sum because we are talking about different countries, and I want to look, it doesn't if I want to look at what is the age of people in America, what is the general age of people living in Ohio, let's just say. What you generally ask the question, what is the average age of people living in Ohio? You don't say the sum of age of people living in Ohio or in America or in Europe. So I'm from sum, I'm going to make that into average because that's what we need. And same thing, so birth rate of a country, and where is the life expectancy of that country, life expectancy of female, because generally birth rate is dependent on female. Again, that's sum, I don't need that sum, that should be an average. I got that as average. Now I'm going to put region on color. So regions are Africa, Asia, Europe, Middle East, like that. If you want, you can go and see that in your data source as well. What you have countries and then you have regions. Okay. And then I am going to put country in detail, like that. Okay. So all the countries who are in Africa are now being represented by blue. And I'm going to say circle, try to fill it up, fill those up, maybe increase the size a little bit. Okay. Good. That is good. 0. Fine with that. Make it entire view. Okay. Those are the null values which we have in a data set. So regions there. And now we have the data set, or the data set which we have is for multiple years starting from 2000 all the way to 2012. It's just showing me 1000 rows of data, so that's why it's just 2004, but the data set is up to 2012. So this is something which we have not done so far, which is I'm going to put before I do that, let me do one more thing. Color is that, size is okay, border, how about that, make it a little bit so we can see that other countries nearby. Okay, and we are simply going to put year under pages like that. And what that does is the Gapminder chart, which must have taken Ross Hasling to multiple years to develop his own programming language tool. He made this in somewhere in 2001 or 2, spending considerable time on it. We made the same chart within like 5 minutes, and see, it has all the years, and let's play it. Oh, and so that's that. Well, we forgot to do one thing. Right now, these are just simply representation of each country. We want the size to differ by the population of that country. So population, I'm going to put on the size and not some average. Now we can play it. And if you want, you can clean that up a little bit. I think we should increase the size a little bit more to make it a little bit more easy to see. So what a beautiful chart. We just created that chart in less than 5 minutes by adding that years data, years dimension to years blue pill to pages, which makes now the chart dynamic and go through the data over multiple years. So let's call this a Gapminder chart, because that's where it got popular from. Okay. Let's create another chart, and I'm going to call it dot plot with jitter. Now, what is this jitter? It's a popular term in Tableau, but will tell you what it is in a minute. Okay. So what am I doing with dot plot with jitter? I am trying to show the expectancy of life, and it's either male or female, let's say female, by each region. So what do I mean by that? Region and expectancy of life of female. Okay, so that's Africa, Asia, and so on. And I'm going to put region on color so we can differentiate, and then of course add countries to the detail so that this bar gets broken down for each bar. Instead of one continent, break it. Oh, nothing happened. Instead of this, let's do this. Oh, it shouldn't be some, should be average. Why is it showing each region just like that? It should be showing, oh, that's why I put the region again, sorry. So this is each continent. I want to see each country under each region, and that's what it will. So now problem is they all are on one value, which is it should be. But how do I want to see this country. This is Mauritius data. I want to be able to see it. I want it to be a little bit spread out. Maybe this Mauritius, even though the value 76 can come here, and I'm not even trying to pronounce that country, and Egypt can come a little bit here. so that at least I can see the data. So the data is a little spread out. And how do we do that? That's where the jitter comes into play. And how do we create a jitter? Let's do that. So what I'm going to do, I already did that. I am going to create a calculated field. Right click, create calculated field, and it goes on my other screen. Call it jitter, and what I'm saying is random. I'm creating this formula called random, which simply generates value between 0 and 10. That's all it does. 0 and 10, and I got that. And when I drop that 0 to 10 here, all I'm doing is I'm just spreading. The values don't change, nothing change. It's just that with the jitter under each column with a measure, it's just now randomly spread over inside there. I did that randomly spacing from 0 to 10. We really don't want to show it, so I'm gonna remove that. So now my values are a little bit spread out. So when if you want to spread out a value inside a particular other column, you can use jitter by randomly generating, just randomly generated numbers and spreading it out. Now we are going to do something which we have not done so far. Go to analytics, and you can see there are many options available right there. So I'm going to select an average line. Click on that, and you can see, let me go back, single click. Do I want to put it on the whole table, on the pan, on the cell? I want to do it on the whole table. Oh, I don't want it on jitter. Let me go back, just on the life expectancy. So that averages for the whole data set we have. So the average of the whole world is life expectancy is 71. You can click on that, edit it. Do you want that or custom? And I can say average age is 71 if you want to do that. Okay. You can also do this by pan. What it does is, it's pan is each of them individually. So now that's the average age of that particular pan, which is Africa, Asia, Europe, Middle East, and Oceania and America. And you can edit that too and say, just show the value. And so the average age of the world is, oops, sorry. Just a way to show our data. Why is the format not working? I don't know why the format thing is not working. I'm going to make this a little bit darker, like that. So average age of the world is 71. In each particular panel, it is 51. And you, oh, that's why I was just, I can do like that. So now I'm showing the life expectancy of female in world and by continent. Apologize for any typos. continent is misspelled too, so that's okay. And you have some other options in analytics as well. Okay, so that is another a very popular chart, dot plots with by jitter, and by jitter we simply use that randomly generated values to spread over our data. Continuing with that, I want to use the same data set to create some tree maps. So tree maps have the capability to show a lot of data, and this is a perfect example of where we can use tree maps. So let's say I want, and the tree maps we won't be using any of the columns or rows, not putting data there. So region under color, then country under details, I think. Yep. So we got the country and region. What kind of data we want to show? Let's show population, and we want population by size again. Okay. And we want to show population on label as well. So that's Asia. Actually, why no need of region? Let's move the regions out. Do it by country. So China. I think I did something wrong. Let me take it out and fix it again. So region on colors, then I want world population on size, so that's Asia. Okay, so I got the continent, and each continent's gonna be, I think, why showing for the whole total? Rest is okay. Why is Asia not coming properly? That's okay. Let's add some more data onto it. Country. Okay. Now it's Asia. Now the population is fine. A label. It's showing me this is the world's one. I'm gonna change it. So 1.3 billion, 1.4 billion. Okay. So that with tree map you can show the world's population, and it might be a good idea to have some filters there. Maybe region could be a filter. Okay. And then show filter. We don't want to show. Then you can see that Middle East, Americas, Africa, and Asia, and all. So nice way to see the world map. I also like to make, so this is tree map with population. I also like to make another tree map, and let me see if I can copy and paste. Okay, and instead of this, I'm going to put the GDP there. GDP there and GDP there. Okay. And cancel. Okay. And maybe put GDP there, all values. Next. Okay. Create a dashboard. Just trying to show you, this how we can show the data. So this one is your population. This one is your GDP. Have them as floating. And where did they go? Right there. And have this one as floating as well. And we don't need this one. Okay. And apply to all. Apply to okay. And then we can see the population relative to the GDP. So this is something I really like creating, and you can see how the population and the GDP relates with each other. And one more thing, like here, if you go and put population, oh, I must have did something. What did I remove from here? Oh, what happened? Where did my chart goes? Oh, because I said that filter is applicable to all the sheets which are referencing that data. So it might be like something interesting. Population total there. Okay. So if you look at how many countries have population above 500 million, there are only 2. And below 1 billion, it's the same. So up to 500 billion, it remains the same. So some interesting way to explore our data. So this is these are the visualizations based on the world indicators data set.